You think that God would support a woman in choosing abortion?
Yeah.
Why would God commend someone for breaking his moral law?
Because I don't believe everything in regarding of the Bible.
How do you know who God is if you can't trust the Bible?
I didn't say I didn't trust the Bible.
Okay, you just disagree with parts of it?
Yeah, I'm pro-choice, so yeah, it's crazy, but at the end of the day, I'd rather for someone to know that, hey, I'm probably not going to be a good mother and make the decision early, or have the child and wait till they're 8, 9 years old and then murder the child.
What choice do you support? 'Cause I'm pro-choice in many things. Like I'm pro-choice with color of pants you wear, what school you go to, but I'm also anti-choice with many things like rape, murder, things like that. So when you say you're pro-choice, I think I know what you're talking about, but give me some definition there. What choice are you in favor of?
So yeah, I'm definitely anti-choice of rape or anything of that sort.
Yeah, so we agree on that,
ancestral, whatever that case may be. So yeah, so I definitely, if there is something of that sort and the mother wants to abort the child, then absolutely, I'm 100% behind it. And also just even if there isn't any rape or anything of that sort, back to what I was saying, if the mother thinks, hey, I'm not ready or I'm not financially stable in this economy, that is like totally plausible.
Yeah.
So if they do, then I'm behind that as well.
So that's not my point, though. I'm asking, like, when you say you're pro-choice, can you define for me what is the choice you're in favor of? Not just the word abortion, but like explain to me what is the procedure that you think is a good choice for women to do?
So
do you know how abortions happen?
I had one, yeah.
You had one?
Yeah.
How are you today?
I'm good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so no, you're all right today based on your thinking about your abortion, the past?
Yeah, because I know I wasn't ready. I talked to the father, and that was quite a few years ago as well. But yeah, no, I'm fine.
Okay. Do you think that all procedures for abortion are permissible? Or there's some you think those are a little too extreme or graphic?
I mean, I guess after the 3 or after the 6 week, or I mean, I didn't even know they did it after 26 weeks or the second trimester. But I mean, I guess at that point, I didn't know it even go that far, honestly. But even with that, who am I to judge? Because at the end of the day, I mean, we could feel how all we feel, but it's at the end of the day of how really God feels about it. And that's also, I guess, subjective as well.
How do you think God feels about it?
I mean,
what does he think about it?
At the end of the day, they're all souls, right? So, and they all souls belong to him. So when you do something of that sort, also I'm a Christian as well. So when you do something of that sort and you're honest and he understands we all make mistakes and you go through an abortion, my feeling on that and also my looks on a lot of other things when it comes to the Bible, I think he's behind it. Because whether me getting the baby here or having the baby go through trauma, going through any type of, they say you can put the baby up for adoption, but that baby is always going to wonder, hey, where's my mother, and then it's just excess trauma that this person has to go through, and as you can see, there's a lot of us walking around with PTSD, so who does that help? So at the end of the day, and there's enough babies in this world, there's actually too many, so at the end of the day, if you're making that choice prior to, I'm with it.
So to clarify, you think that God would support a woman in choosing abortion?
Yeah.
And based on what, like, where do you get the understanding of God from? Is that from the Bible, or just like your own thoughts? Like, how do you get that idea?
Well, here's the thing. Knowing that the Bible was tampered with, and there's a lot of books of the Bibles that is removed from that, then...
Are you talking about the Apocrypha, the books like the Catholics have? Or Gospel of Thomas?
KJV. When it comes to that, there are so many things that are removed and so many things that are added, and also things in regarding of what happened to these. There are a lot of things in the Old Testament prior to Jesus coming and God sending his son. So, of course, a lot of things prior to was different. But ultimately, like I said, when it comes to different things of that sort, God doesn't even care about flesh.
About what?
He doesn't care about flesh.
What do you mean he doesn't care about flesh?
So that's why he sent his son.
So he became flesh?
No, Jesus, he sent his son, which is Jesus, and became flesh. But prior to, in the Old Testament, he did not care about flesh. It also says God look at flesh as to be mowed down and withered.
As what?
So, mowed down and withered means he does not care. He has no respect of person. and everything.
Wait, there's no respect of person means that God doesn't show like preferentiality based on race.
But also God does not care about flesh. He was always a spirit. That's why he sent his son.
God is
because
spirit.
He didn't,
Yeah.
because he didn't feel.
Right, and Jesus says that you must worship God in spirit and truth. So God is seeking those who worship him in spirit and truth. But you don't get from that. It doesn't say God doesn't care about flesh. I'm not sure I follow you. Because it was in the Old.
Think about it. The Old Testament, when God sent his word, it was either do what I say or else, right? Sodom and Gomorrah.
No, I mean.
Look, Sodom and Gomorrah, it was two angels that was sent to Lot. God sent two angels to Lot. When he sent them, he said, hey, I need you to actually Lot was going back and forth like, hey, I have family here. I have children here. I have daughters here. So God was like, hey, show me someone that's not doing everything in this city, like raping, child molestation.
It's a very immoral city. Mm-hmm.
So when it came to that, God sent the two angels to Lot in regarding of that, hey, you guys got to get out of this city or else. Because guess what? Before, back in the Old Testament, he was not a flesh. So he sent his
God
son.
was not flesh.
Of
yes.
course, he's always been a
I
spirit.
agree with you.
So for him to understand and feel our infirmities, he had to send his son. So he went through everything so he can understand us.
But not
so he
merely
can have
for
mercy. That's where mercy came from. Prior to, there was no mercy.
Oh, that's not true. In the Old Testament, there's plenty of instances of great mercy. Think about God commending the Hebrew midwives who don't. Pharaoh tells them to kill all the
I'm not
babies.
saying there wasn't mercy. What I'm saying is God was like, do what I say or else. There was no in between.
You think now it's not that way? Jesus still gave it. There are clear commands. If we don't believe in Jesus, we are condemned to hell. The similar idea of you must follow God's commands or you will suffer the punishment, right? Now, thankfully, we're not saved by being perfect. It's by faith in Jesus Christ. But the Bible says if we don't believe in the Son, Jesus, we're condemned already. So you must repent and turn and believe in Jesus, or you are still damned to hell. It's not like mercies now. We're all saved universally by default.
So,
but
no,
Jesus,
because God already gave over souls to Satan. So this world honestly belongs to him. So no, we're not.
Well, I mean,
it's believed by fault.
So Satan has been given a leash to like be active in this world. But back to your whole original point that God doesn't care about the flesh.
No, he doesn't.
I disagree with that presupposition, but let's say you're right about that. If that were true, which I disagree with.
Which is in the Old Testament, that's when he had to send his son.
See, I disagree with that, but let's say you were right about that. That would mean God wouldn't care what you do with your body. He wouldn't care if you punch someone, you sexually assault someone. He wouldn't care about that. So
all of that was okay. So prior to in the Old Testament, I'm gonna go back to Sodom and Gomorrah. They were doing a lot of things.
Yeah.
Right. So
were those things wrong?
What?
Were those things wrong they were doing?
Yeah, but there were no laws. There were no laws that was put in place prior to then, because I was thinking about that was in Genesis. So there were no laws put in place like God forbid, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal. There was no laws prior to that. So what was going on, it was unruly.
See, God's moral laws always existed because God is good. Every world, the world that he created has his moral law as part of it. Now, not his special revelation of like the 10 Commandments, you're right, that came later, but it already was revealed to man because man is human, made in God's image. We have a sense of right and wrong. They already should have known they were doing wrong things. But hang on, here's my point. I'm trying to come full circle. When God looks at a mom who is pregnant, inside of her is an embryo, a human embryo, you would say God says, you may choose abortion, I support you. And I'm asking you, where do you get that idea from God, that God would support a woman in having an abortion? Where does that idea come from? I don't see it in the Bible. Where does that come from?
Well, honestly, there's a lot of things that, like I said, there's a lot of things that I believe because I don't believe everything in regarding of the Bible.
So how do you know who God is if not for the Bible?
I'm sorry?
How do you know who God is if you can't trust the Bible?
I didn't say I didn't trust the Bible.
Okay, you just disagree with parts of it?
Yeah. Don't you disagree with certain things? When you disagree and agree with certain things?
No.
There's a lot of things like when Lot's children, when his daughters had sex with him, I totally disagree with that.
But God does not commend him for that. That's a narrative telling you a story, what happened.
Okay, but
narrating telling us the fact of the story. You don't see God commending him for that.
He didn't commend. What happened to the daughters?
I'm sorry. What's your point?
What happened to the daughters when they slept with their dad? Got him drunk and slept with their dad.
Again, they were not commended for this immoral action either.
So what I'm saying is, I feel that is wrong.
I agree with you. They did an immoral thing. I agree with you. Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
So what I'm saying is, I don't agree with everything that happened.
Well, sure, but I mean the point of like with the Bible, like I guess, yeah, like certainly the things are recounted. There are many narratives that show us bad things happening, wrong things we should not do. But the simple 10 commandment that we are not to kill innocent humans, it's part of the 10 commandments. Do you agree with that command from God?
So what do you, okay, so because either way, just say if I have a child, right?
Yeah,
And
born or preborn?
have the child 6 years old.
Okay.
And I end up killing the baby. What do you suggest? See, because I'm going to go to jail for murder. I'm going to prison for murder, right? Versus...
And maybe, it depends on the court.
Okay, so why wouldn't I go to jail for murder?
Because I've read a lot of stories of moms who kill their born children, and sometimes they face many different penalties. Like there was a mom who once shook her baby because the baby was interrupting her Farmville game on Facebook, and that mom did face jail time. Other moms don't because of the court determining that it wasn't premeditated, she was under duress. There are many reasons she might not go to jail directly.
So what other cases you've heard where mothers killed their babies and didn't face anything?
Will face something, but I'm not saying it might not be jail time. Like what's her name, Susan Smith, or is it Andrea Yates, who drowned her kids in the bathtub, or no, can't remember the mom exactly. When I was, this is like in the 90s, I believe, early 2000s, when I was younger. She's in an insane asylum because she was found she was found not guilty by reason of insanity.
Okay,
Whether you agree with that, my point is just that if you kill a child today, you and I can agree that's wrong, right? Killing a 6-year-old.
A live child that's walking around, yeah.
Okay, well, what about a newborn baby who can't walk yet?
A newborn?
Who can't walk?
That's still murder. If the baby is born,
okay,
that's still murder.
And God would be opposed to that?
I'd assume, yeah. Because because at the end of the day, also God has said, my thoughts and your thoughts are as far from earth, heaven is from earth.
Sure.
So we can feel how we feel about the Bible and different things. That's why I disagree and agree with certain things. So when it comes to that, he's really the judge of all of this.
Yeah.
So we can feel, hey, prior to, if you're having a baby, if you're pregnant and you kill the baby, that's murder. Or after this and the other, that is murder as well. But at the end of the day, God is the only judge.
Yes, but God has revealed to us, while his thoughts are above our thoughts, what he's revealed to us about himself is true truth. And where he says it's wrong to purposely kill innocent humans, under the 10 commandments, thou shalt not commit murder, that's true truth. That he's revealed this is against my moral law for you to take the life of an innocent human.
That's also with newborns and also with someone that just found out they were pregnant or 3 weeks, 4 weeks. That also includes that?
Absolutely.
Okay. So what does that say that in there?
Well, see, right, because after the flood, even God's very clear that, but anyone who sheds man's blood, because man is somehow special, a special class made in God's...
It's not even technically a baby yet. It's just, but go ahead.
Oh, well, so my point, I'm just saying, I'm trying to argue first, I guess, or suggest that God has a special class of humans. It says if you attack this group, the humans, there will be punishment upon you because you have violated a person, someone who bears my image. And in Genesis 1, we see that that's for Adam and Eve. It's not just Adam, it's not just men made in God's image, it's a whole class of humans. Men and women, you and I are both, though we have different color, different gender, we're both made in God's image. And you and I would probably agree when it comes to this baby, this born child, that she's made in God's image, so she deserves protection. We should not purposely kill her. What I don't understand is why you would draw a line here and say, this is not a human worthy of protection, but that is.
Because all souls belong to God.
But why does this soul not deserve protection like your soul?
I'm sorry, what?
You are a soul.
Okay.
You deserve protection.
What does it mean is protection? Because when I'm born, am I protected?
Yeah. If someone could still harm you when you're born. They could harm you today.
Right.
But there's a law, a state law, and also God's law protecting you. That if someone like violates you, punches you, and they're not held responsible, God's law still will one day hold them responsible because they broke a law that you're a person who ought not to be violated. So you and I have protections because we're humans, bearing God's image. We have protections from Him and the state. So I'm asking you, why do you say this being here is not worthy of protection, this embryo?
Well, they're all worthy of protection. Like I said, all souls belong to God. So at the end of the day, because the thing about it is, why would I, as a mother or whatever the case may be, if I know that I've gotten pregnant and I cannot take care of this baby, now what am I looked at as?
I would say you have 3 choices. Every woman does. No matter the situation, she may raise the child, she may find someone else to raise the child, she may kill the child. 3 choices. I would say 2 of them are moral, 1 of them is immoral.
I'm going around. Okay.
Would you agree with that?
That's your opinion. That's totally
but see,
okay.
you and I both follow God, or at least we claim to follow God, And God's law is
Yeah.
very clear that you should not purposely kill innocent humans. And you're saying that one choice of killing the child is moral, and saying God would commend you for that. Why would God commend someone for breaking his moral law?
Because whether I kill it now or later, it's still going to be killed, right?
But you don't.
Wait. 'Cause what I'm saying is,
Okay.
if I have the baby and I realize, okay, well, I tell you what, I can't find anyone to adopt the baby. I can't find anyone to take care of it, but I end up having the baby and end up killing the baby at 5 years old.
God opposed it at 5 years old and 5 weeks old in the womb. Both places God opposed it because it's the same child. It's just an older, younger version. I have a kid at home that's 3 and a kid who's 14 years old. If I were to harm either one, both are wrong in God's eyes. Age is irrelevant to the wrongness of harming them. Both of them are innocent children. See, that's what I think human equality demands. If it's wrong to kill this baby, it must be wrong to kill this baby too, unless there's something that makes this baby, again, not worthy of human rights.
In the world as of yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would the same be true of a...
Because honestly, like I said, I do go by pro-choice, because at the end of the day, you're still going to be... Okay, take God out of the equation. If there is any type of, okay, I kill a baby, right, or a child at 1 year old, I'm going to be looked at as a murderer.
Okay.
Once the baby's here, let's take God out of the equation. I will be charged for that. I will, and probably more than likely, go to prison.
Okay.
Right. So I am not only just destroy someone's life that is actually breathing, that is actually here, that is actually witnessed something on this side. I've also messed up my life as well.
Sure. Yeah.
So there's not only one life, there's two.
I agree.
Okay, so at the end of the day, if I get pregnant and realize, hey, I'm not going to be able to do this, I'm not going to give this child what they deserve, who am I? And that's why I say, when it comes to God, we really don't know, because he is the judge at the end of the day.
He is, yeah.
He is, because we can read the Bible, we can feel however well, whichever Bible, at the end of the day, he is still the judge, and he is God. He can always change his mind. Because
hang on a second. What do you mean by that?
Here's the thing. How we're able to change our mind as humans? Like, oh, okay, well, I'm a vegetarian today and tomorrow I'm not. How am I able to change my mind? God gave me a free will and he's not able to change his.
Because God cannot change. If God were to change and become and support evil, if you were to say evil is good,
so that would be technically evil, because all souls belong to him. So if I'm doing that at abortion, if I'm having an abortion, the soul is going back to him.
you mentioned the Old Testament. God's very clear that he does not change. In the book of Malachi, he says, I do not change. He's very clear on this.
Okay.
Because God is perfect, he will not change. And so if he declares something evil today, it's evil. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow, it's always evil. Or if something, it does declare, if it's evil because it violates his nature, it's evil through all time. And that would apply to all people. When we read in the Bible, we learn it's wrong to rape someone. Again, that applies to any someone. It's not like God says it's only wrong to rape white people or black people. That's ridiculous, right? It's wrong to sexually assault any human being, right? That applies to all of us. So, because God does not change. So I would say it applies also universally. This command to not shed innocent human blood applies to all innocent humans.
So what you're telling me is that God is God. He gave us free will.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have one.
You know they don't have a
free will to do what?
Free will to do whatever. Because when he gave us a free will, it wasn't just to praise him. He gave us a free will to not believe in him. He gave us a free will to believe in him. That's where there's nihilists, there's why agnostic, atheists. He gave everyone the free will to do whatever they want. So if God gave us a free will, and he is God, and he made us,
you're eating up.
He doesn't have free will?
I think it depends what you mean by free will. Again, if you mean by free will,
so what
the ability to do evil,
mind can't change.
Does free will, God?
Because it's written, and that's what he say. I'm saying God mind does not change because it is written. It is all this and this and it. So there's no way that he could ever change his mind.
Again, it depends what you mean by change your mind. Like if you were to suggest that God does something different, God is able to make choices. He has agency, but God is perfect. If God were to decide the thing I did in the past was wrong, that'd be to admit that he was imperfect in the past for doing a wrong thing. And that would have meant he wouldn't have been perfect then. And God by definition is perfect.
He is perfect.
Right.
But
and that means
imperfect. But what I'm saying is, if God were to change his mind about, okay, so if God were to change his mind, you know what? What about what I did? I had an abortion quite a few years ago.
Yeah.
I don't, and I still worship him and I still praise him. So I was honest with him.
Yeah.
What he also said, God doesn't despise an honest heart.
Yeah, right.
And
That's
I
true.
did
Yeah.
what I did, and I stand behind that. So you're telling me because I did that, I'm going to hell? But he can't change his mind. Right?
Let me tell you what I truly think about that. I think that those who follow God are still sinners.
We're all sinners, regardless if we follow him or not. But go ahead, continue.
First letter of John is very clear. The first letter, if we say we're without sin, we are deceiving ourselves. The truth is not in us. We are.
Jesus was the only
Can
one.
I finish?
But go ahead.
So I'm just establishing the point that we all, even though you and I claim to follow Jesus, it doesn't mean we are not still, that we don't sin today, right? So I would say that your abortion was a sin. I would say that it's very important that those who follow Jesus do not commend something evil as good. And so the problem would be if you look back on your sin and you say, my sin was a good thing.
I never said that.
No, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying if you would do that, that would call into mind my question, are you truly following God? Because a lot of people think they're following Jesus.
What's a good sin, by the way? But go ahead.
I didn't say good sin. No, there's no good sin. My point is that if some people say they're following Jesus, but actually follow this Jesus in their mind, not the true Jesus, and that's a problem. So I look back on my life, I see, oh my goodness, I did these horrible things after I started following Jesus. I'm sorry for the sin I did, that was wrong, and I confess that. And I don't know every one of them, but as they come to my mind, I don't defend them. Over time, the Spirit convicts me and moves me to recognize those are wrong and sinful. And that's the progression of a Christian. We come to understand and be, as Peter writes, to become holy. God says, be holy as I'm holy. We become holy over time. We're not perfect, but we become holy, and we don't defend our sin. So if you look back on your abortion and say, that was wrong, that was sin, I'm sorry, God, I would say that's evidence that you are truly following Jesus. If you look back on a commend and say, no, that was good, I did that thing, you are calling evil good, and that would make me question the authenticity of your faith in Jesus. I don't know your heart, I don't know your relationship with God, but that's what I think.
So, okay, and
my understanding.
never have I said that I believe was good, but what am I saying is, what does that mean for me?
If you believe, yeah, okay, yeah.
That means, okay, all abortion is wrong, right?
Yeah.
And I had an abortion.
Yeah.
And I still follow Jesus. So does that mean that I'm going to hell?
Not at all.
Okay, so what? Okay, so if that doesn't mean that.
Not if you believe in Jesus, right? So there are people who don't have abortions who don't believe in Jesus. They're still damned to hell. Abortion's not the only unforgivable sin, right? So whether someone let's say I never had an abortion. If I don't believe in Jesus today, I'm going to hell because the Bible is clear that if you don't believe in Jesus, you are condemned already because of your lack of belief in him,
what
right?
What about when he's coming back and they repent? Then they're all saying that's
when
what
he comes back.
Yeah.
You mean when he comes back to judge the earth?
Yeah.
At that point, it's too late to turn to him, though. Now, today is the day of salvation. We read in Paul's writings, right? So today is the day where it offers to all of us, all humankind, if you turn from your sin, if you believe in Jesus, you are forgiven. If you stand your ground and say, no, my sin is good, it shows you're not really following Jesus. Or it calls into question, again, the authenticity of your faith, because saving faith is trust in Jesus and following him, not to make yourself acceptable to God and to save yourself, but out of gratitude for what he's done for you, you want to follow him. So a woman who's had 15 abortions, if she believes in Jesus, she is saved and going to heaven, and God has forgiven her for that sin. Abortion is not the special category where you cannot be saved. Not at all. That is not true. And some churches, because they're silent about this, they almost suggest that because they don't talk about it. But we should talk about abortion. Yes, it's sin, but God's grace is greater. And that's the beautiful truth that I have for anyone.
Okay, so what is this all about then? Because I mean, we can all say, "Oh, I believe," and you don't know my heart.
I don't. You're right. Yeah. Yeah.
So, or I could say I don't. So what's the big hoopla in regarding of abortion? If if I believe, then hey, you know what I'm saying? I'm saved because, you know, at the end of the day, yeah, I did have an abortion. I truly did. Mm-hmm. What's the difference from? I mean, then what is this all about? I mean,
so God has commanded many things of his followers. One of them is to go share the truth that we have, right? We are to tell people the reason for the hope that we have. I have hope in one day, a better existence where I'm with the Lord forever because of what Jesus did, dying on the cross, and God the Father raising back to new life. I have reason for hope in my life, and I'm commanded to go share that with others, right? But I'm also commanded elsewhere in Scripture, in James, his letter, he writes that religion is pure and undefiled before God is to look after orphans, widows, and keep yourself from being stained by the world. And so I look at these children, see that their parents are rejecting them by choosing to have them killed. So these are being willfully becoming orphans by their parents' choice. And I think, how can I follow God's command to look after orphans if I turn a blind eye to their death? So I'm here to try to help them and help their parents, because some moms and dads, I don't know about your situation, I'm not asking for details, but some people choose abortion because they think they don't have enough money, their partner's abusive. I want to help them too, not just babies. I want to love mom and dad and baby if possible. Help the orphans, help the widows who are widows because their boyfriends rejected them. I'm here because I want to help these real people and also point people to what God did for them through Jesus on the cross. Well, a couple things. I'd say practically, like, I do meet people, so we also go to Planned Parenthood where we just offer help because say, what can we do for you? Because people feel a need for abortion. Whether or not it's a legitimate need, they feel a need for abortion, right? We offer, how can we help you if it's finances, a new place to live, or whatever, how can we help you? Because we want to offer that to them. So today on campus too, if someone tells me I'm pregnant, but I need this, I don't just say, hey, abortion's wrong. I would say, how can I help you in that situation?
So I would help them physically. Help them financially?
We've raised money for women who say that is the problem. Finances are. We've raised thousands of dollars for women. If I can tell you this, like, so what we're doing here, we're here because we have private people who support us financially to be here. And those private people who support me financially to be here, if I tell them, as a woman today who is pregnant and doesn't have money, I could raise money quickly because they care so much for that mom and her baby. So that I can help them with. But also, I think even just sharing the truth of what abortion is, I'm also helping them as well, because people live in this kind of morally relativistic world. If they understand abortion is wrong, that raises the question of, where does wrongness come from? And I would say it's from God, who He is. He is good by definition. Anything against His nature is wrong. And so I can help them not only with understanding abortion and saving babies that way, I can point them to who God is, and that's helping them spiritually as well. Not just to not kill babies, but understand who God is, and that's how they can be reconciled to Him and have faith in Him. So I'm here to help people, preborn babies and born people. That's my goal.
Okay. I'm still pro-choice. I mean, at the end of the day, because I mean, we feel how we feel. At the end of the day, like I said, God He's the only judge. And I just truly, honestly feel, because if that's the case, then that means that our majority of people that we see nowadays that are living in their sexuality, they're going to hell. And I don't believe that.
But see, it's not their sexuality that's sending them to hell. I mean, that is a sin they're committing. But the most foundational sin is that if you have a doctor who offers you medicine as a cure for whatever you have, you choose not to take that medicine, you will die because you deny the thing that can save you. And so someone who's living in whatever sin today, if God offers, here's a way to be rescued from your sin, you say, I don't want that, you are damning yourself to hell. You are committing yourself to hell because you're denying the one option God has given to you to be rescued from that state.
Right. So which is only being straight, right?
Well, no, that's not my point. No.
Because honestly, okay, so if it doesn't have anything to do with anyone's sexual orientation or whom they may lay with, what does it have to do with?
So again, that's an important question that comes secondary. The first issue is, do you believe in Jesus, right? Are you trusting in Him to save you? If not, yes, you're on your way to hell because you're choosing to reject the offer God has given to you to be rescued from your damned state. You're rejecting that. So you have chosen to die in your sin. And then yes, because if you choose to follow Him, when you understand, I want to follow you and trust in Jesus, and I trust you with my life, I'm going to follow you with my life, that means you will live as He said you ought to live. And so it does mean not only not having homosexual sex, but any extramarital sex is also wrong.
Right.
Sex is reserved for, God made it very clear, He reserved it for a special union, one man, one woman. All other acts of sex create all kinds of problems. I mean, look at the HIV crisis. We know where this came from today, where this started. We have sexual sins brings problems in our world.
So where did the HIV come from?
You know, the homosexual revolution in the 20th century brought this crisis we have today.
So that's where HIV came from?
I'm not suggesting that's the only place it came from, but this is a great spread of it in America and across the world.
Okay, but I'm asking, I understand everyone...
I don't know the genesis of it. I don't know the genesis of it.
So
yeah, I don't know that.
No,
I don't know the genesis of it. But I'm saying we see it rampant in our world because of the homosexual sex. That's not why that's wrong. My point is, when you break God's law, you bring other problems in the world.
HIV is man-made. It's man-made.
Well, God didn't create HIV if you're asking me that.
Well, what I'm saying is, it is man-made. So
Are you telling me you're asking me?
No. I'm saying HIV is man-made. AIDS is man-made. God did not create AIDS.
I agree.
Create HIV.
I agree with you.
So to say, oh, well, this is the reason why you have it because this is what God. That's
No.
man-made.
My point is that's not my point. My point is like, if a dad beats his child, he's creating a lot of problems. That kid now has trauma in her life.
Okay.
And so if you break God's law, there are other consequences that come with it, is my point. But more foundationally, my point is that it's not becoming straight. It's trusting in Jesus and over time rejecting things that he says are evil. Because that's what Christians do. If you follow...
So you can't really consider, even in the Old Testament, we're not those type of Christians. They were giving up their child for sacrifice.
Not the Christians.
So what I'm saying is the ones that said that they were Christian. Even Saul, he was actually killing Christians. Why? Because he believed.
Before he became a Christian.
He still thought he was doing God's work.
He did, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is there was a lot of things in the Old Testament in regarding of that hey said, oh, even with the different type of threads that we wear is also depending on that's also in the Christian or the things we eat. We're not supposed to eat seafood. We're not these type of Christians. That's why I say in the New Testament, when God sent his son, his only begotten son, which is Jesus, he understood our infirmities. He knew how we feel. God was depressed. Jesus, he went through everything that we're going through now. This is why God can understand how we feel because he sent his son, so, not prior to.
Let me try to summarize our conversation. You say your ending's still pro-choice. Yeah. I'm going to say anti-abortion to be clear on what I believe. We both claim to follow Jesus. Mm-hmm. You claim God is pro-choice. Would that be fair to say? But God would commend a mom for having an abortion, you say?
I didn't say commend. I never said that.
Would he support a mom in having an abortion?
Yes.
Okay,
These
so...
are my... Okay, so let's just...
I'm just trying to summarize where we stand.
Okay, so I have my feelings. I have my beliefs. Just like I said with the Bible, I feel there's certain things I do and don't. I look at and I don't feel like it's right or wrong. That's my choice.
Yes.
Okay.
I understand that.
But when it comes to God, that's not what he said. This is how I feel.
Yeah, but I'm saying that we both say we're Christian. I'm anti-abortion. You're pro-choice. You would say pro the choice of abortion.
Yeah.
You believe God would support a mom for having an abortion. I believe God would not support a mom for having an abortion.
Said he would support that. Okay, go ahead.
Am I wrong?
I never said God will support.
Is abortion sin?
Yeah, but as well as killing someone, or as well as eating the wrong thing as a sin. But and he also don't look at little sin and big sin. He don't look at sin as being little sin and big sin.
So we do agree that abortion is sin. That's a big deal. And shouldn't Christians?
Because we're sinners.
But shouldn't Christians choose not to sin? Isn't it right that we don't sin?
Regardless if we choose not to sin or not, we are sinners.
I'm not arguing that we don't sin, but people who follow Jesus should not say I'm pro-sin. You're pro that choice. You agree with me that choice is sin, but you're saying you're pro-sin?
We're sinners.
No, but
he also gave us a free will.
But you said that's sin. You said that's sin.
He also gave us a free will.
Okay.
Like I said, when it comes to everything in the Bible, there's some things I agree with, certain things I do not.
But you told me you agree with me right now that is sin.
Yeah, just as well as me if I come in Christian. Yeah,
but is it really right for you, a Christian, to say I am pro-sin because you're pro-choice? That's the choice. You're saying I'm pro that sin. Is that really right to do as a Christian? To say you're pro-sin?
Who would say that I'm not?
Well, you told me you are pro-choice.
Yes, I am.
You agree that choice is sin.
Yeah.
That's saying I'm pro-sin. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I'm hearing you say that.
Okay, so who am I to judge? Like I said, who am I to judge?
Well, Jesus is very clear.
When a mother decides to have an abortion.
But Jesus says take the plank out of your eye so you can take the speck out of your neighbor's eye. You are to judge someone else.
No, I can't. No,
but
I'm not.
You are. But you're supposed to judge them.
I'm not.
Not like whether they go to heaven or hell,
okay,
but judge their actions as right or wrong.
Okay, so if we keep going back and forth with the abortion, we just said, oh well, if you believe in this and the other, then you're saved. But just say if the person that is not, I don't have the last say, so I cannot judge any mother that decides to have an abortion for whatever reason.
So it's not sin then? I mean, is it sin or is it not sin? I'm asking a judge right now, is abortion sin or not? I'm asking a judge, is abortion sin?
What do you think abortion is?
Sin.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's sin.
yeah, okay,
Just
so
like
it is
genocide
sin.
or murder or sexual assault, they're all sin.
Okay.
So I would tell you that it's true that I do sin, but I'm not pro my sin. If I am, there's a problem within me. I need God's sanctification to reject that,
Okay.
right? So I would not tell you I am pro extramarital sex. I'm not pro stealing. If I say I'm pro that sin, I would say that I am planting my flag on the land of sin and not on what God has said is right and wrong, and that's a problem.
Okay.
So as you walk away, in your mind, it sounds like you're telling me I am a Christian who is pro-sin.
Pro-choice. Yes, I am. Because
I'm
can't
Seth.
judge
What's your
my
name?
voice.
What's your name?
Mercedes.
Mercedes. Great to meet you, Mercedes. What are you studying? What are you studying?
Respiratory care.
So you're in the medical field.
Yep.
That's cool. And I appreciate your time to talk today. I really do. I think there's a lot that we agree on, but then there's this big area of disagreement. So something to keep thinking about.
Okay. Have a great day.
Thanks, Mercedes. Take care.